Live from WSIL-TV in high definition, this is News 3.
We don't take chances when we think there's a high probability of a winter event.
IDOT is getting ready again with several new chances for wintry weather on the way in southern Illinois. But first, the latest on a recovery operation in Vienna. A man is found dead at the bottom of a well. Good evening. Crews from several local fire departments were called to the emergency in Johnson County this afternoon.
A man was found in a well at a home along Old Route 146 near Vienna. News 3's Sam Jones joins us live from the scene this evening with the latest on what happened. Sam.
Emily and Eden, it's quiet here now, a much different scene than just over an hour ago when this entire area was filled with emergency responders, all trying to recover the body of that elderly male who lived in the home behind me. The Johnson County Sheriff's Department responded to a well-being check around noon today. That's when a deputy discovered the body of 79-year-old James Test in a well in his backyard. Crews from all over the area came to help recover that body, and it took them 2 hours to do just that. Sheriff Ellery Faulkner says foul play is not suspected. It appears to be a freak accident.
Probably had walked across that old well curbing thousands of times, but with all the freezing weather and everything we've had, he walked out there on it and it just buckled and he went in.
Test was last heard from on Friday. It's not clear how long the body was in the well. The coroner will be doing an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Sheriff Faulkner says Test was a good man who lived in the area for many years and will be missed. Reporting live in Vienna, Sam Jones, News 3.
We turn to weather now after an awfully windy day. Here's Jim.
Strong winds with us all day long, even at sunrise this morning. South winds were already in place, and by mid-morning, we saw some of the strongest gusts. Winds are diminishing a little bit right now, but we expect a south to southwest breeze throughout the night, probably in the 5 to 10 mile an hour range. So we check on numbers right now, both the current wind speeds and the biggest gusts of the day from some of our WeatherNet sites. Harrisburg right now, 5 mile an hour wind, the big gust today, 36. Gusts up to 38 in Marion, Carterville, and Campbell Hill, both reporting wind gusts topping 40 miles an hour, both of them coming in at 43. And you can see the current winds moving right a little bit down to 2 here at the studios, 8 in Marion at the high school, but Campbell Hill at Trico Junior High still reporting a 15 mile an hour wind. And again, those winds all day long have been out of the south and southwest, and that led to a bit of a warm up. Temperatures were pretty close to normal this afternoon, and they're not dropping very much right now, and we don't expect them to drop much tonight because of the south breezes all night long. You can see the 4 sites here reporting with temperatures in the middle to upper 30s. It does look like temperatures will remain above freezing for tonight. Tomorrow, though, as the next round of precipitation moves in, it may start as a little mixture of some rain and some ice, change over to rain through most of Saturday. But by Saturday night, another chance for a little mixture of some snow and ice, and that's not the only chance of wintry weather in the forecast. All of it coming up in just a few minutes.
Jim, thanks. The chance of snow and ice he mentioned in the next week has local road crews on high alert. Earlier this week, we all watched as winter weather brought parts of the South to a standstill. Cities like Atlanta and Birmingham were forced to shut down major highways after only a few inches of snowfall. So what can local road crews learn from those mistakes? News 3's Matthew Searcy joins us live in Williamson County with the story. Matt.
Emily, I'm here just off of Route 13, and local road crews tell me they aren't taking any chances with the potential for snow and ice. Severe weather has brought plenty of snow and ice to Illinois roads this winter, with the potential for more.
The most important thing for us to do right now is to pay close attention to the forecast.
Several chances of snow could hit the region in the next week, catching the attention of IDOT engineer Keith Miley.
We want to see what kind of precipitation might precede the main event.
On Tuesday, winter weather hit many southern cities from Mobile to Charleston, triggering thousands of flight cancellations and hundreds of traffic accidents.
They just don't face us like we do.
Only 2 to 3 inches of snow fell in Atlanta.
I'd advise if you ain't got to be out, stay at home.
It just kept slipping and I thought I was going to tumble over.
But that was more than enough to throw the city's freeway into a gridlock.
They certainly wouldn't have personnel that have the kind of experience that our snowplow operators and our engineers have.
Miley says what happened in Atlanta and other cities isn't likely to happen in southern Illinois.
We take a winter storm pretty seriously because of the impact that it can have on the traveling public.
More than 120 snowplows serve the state's southern 16 counties. Crews have already used more than 20,000 tons of salt this winter, some of which remains.
There is some protection out there right now.
Still, Miley says crews could be out pre-treating roads as early as this weekend if the weather takes a turn for the worse.
We don't take chances when we think there's a high probability of a winter event.
And because they don't take any chances, IDOT in Southern Illinois has already spent almost $4 million in road treatment just this winter. That's 2.5 times more than the last winter. Live in Williamson County, Matthew Searcy, News 3.
Some Johnson County propane customers are feeling cheated. They were told they could not have access to propane they already paid for.
The company says it's because of a severe shortage right now. News 3's Fana Haile-Selassie is live with the details for us. Fana.
Ida and Emily, as propane prices started skyrocketing the past couple of weeks, prepaid customers were sitting pretty with their prices locked in. But now South Illinois propane customers are finding they're not as locked in as they thought. Both Marianne Evitz and her son J.D. Mathis say they paid nearly $900 up front last July, locking in 600 gallons of propane at $1.39. Not a bad price, since a gallon is now going for more than $3. But when they recently called to have their last 100 gallons delivered, they were told that prepaid gas was unavailable, and they were offered 200 gallons at the current rate instead.
It's nothing personal against the people, the employees at South Propane in Vienna. Nothing personal. But I am under the assumption that when you pay for something, it's yours. You should be able to get it anytime you want.
We talked to parent company United Propane Gas in Paducah. They say they have every intention to make sure people get their prepaid propane, but in dealing with the shortage, they're trying to make delivery as simple as possible for the drivers.
Every delivery that's being made is automatically, we have set our system to automatically print out the current price. That's so that our drivers can make more deliveries and not have to check to see whether a customer is entitled to this price or that price.
UPG spokesperson Eric Gibson says once the crisis is over, they will go over the accounts and make the proper adjustments so that customers who prepaid will get the lower price. Now, both Marianne and her son say they plan to stick with Southern Propane if they can get their gas. A big reason is because they claim the other local gas company in town is not playing fair. We'll have more on that story tonight at 10. Live in the studio, Fana Haile-Selassie, News 3.
Fana, thanks. High winds and dry conditions helped spread a destructive brush fire in Williamson County today. This fire started a little before midday near Pittsburgh. The flames destroyed 2 abandoned trailers. Another nearby occupied home saw heat damage. Crews were worried about a propane tank in the path of the fire, but were able to keep the flames from reaching that. Firefighters at the scene say in all 4 acres were charred.
Kentucky State Police say the fire that killed 9 family members this morning started accidentally when combustible material made contact with a baseboard heater. The fire broke out around 2 a.m. at a home just outside Greenville, Kentucky. A family of 11 was inside at the time. The mother and 8 kids from 4 to 15 years old died. The father and an 11-year-old daughter were able to escape. Both are being treated at a Tennessee hospital. Fire crews say by the time they arrived, the flames were so intense they could not get inside the house.
A fire in Williamson County destroyed a trailer this morning. Firefighters on scene say by the time they were able to respond, the fire was out of control. The entire home went up and the fire spread to some brush behind it as well. 2 people living in the home were there when the fire began, but they were able to make it out safely. The former Carterville Schools treasurer has admitted stealing money from the district. Todd Frazier pleaded guilty today in Benton federal court to theft and embezzlement. He admitted pocketing between $70,000 and $120,000 during the 2010 school year. School leaders fired Frazier in February 2012 after an audit revealed the missing money. Frazier's lawyer says the 31-year-old has since moved out of this region.
He lives in Michigan, which is where he was born and raised.
Does he have a job or?
Not yet.
Frazier faces up to 10 years in prison, a fine of $250,000, and he'll have to pay back the money he stole. His sentencing is set for May 8th.
A new rip-off scheme targeting cell phone users has hit our region. It's called the One Ring scam. Computers are programmed to call numbers and hang up after one ring. The scammers hope victims' curiosity gets the best of them. If they call back, they're charged a big fee and high per-minute rates, since most of the numbers are registered out of the country. No complaints have been filed locally yet, but several people have reported the mysterious phone calls.
Sit on the computer, Google the number. It popped up right away that it was in the Dominican Republic and was a scam.
The Better Business Bureau says the scam is spreading rapidly all across the country.
A new report shows the Illinois poverty rate hasn't changed much in the past 50 years now. Chicago's Social Impact Research Center found almost 15% of Illinois residents lived below the poverty line in 2012. That's about the same as 1960, despite all the state and federal programs helping the poor in that time. At least 11 counties in our region are considered high poverty. Alexander County is the highest at more than 32%. The latest jobs numbers show unemployment on the rise for many counties across the region right now. In December, 8 southern Illinois counties had double-digit jobless rates. Franklin County was highest at more than 12.5%. Hardin, Perry, and Union were all above 11%. Jackson County has the lowest unemployment rate in our region right now at 7.8%.
The federal government's announced plans to fund tracking devices for children with autism. The systems, often used with Alzheimer's patients, can be expensive, but they can be crucial when a person wanders away. Jefferson County first responders put their search skills to the test this afternoon after a short training session with the CareTrack program. Devices like this are gaining national attention following the death of a New York teen who wandered away. Professionals like Kristen Shaper at the Center for Autism Spectrum Disorders hear about it all too often.
And the kids with ASD just don't recognize that things are dangerous. You know, they might like water and, you know, I will just go get in the water and not realizing that it's going to get deep and they can't swim.
Thanks to the push from New York, federal funds will now offset the cost of buying GPS tracking systems for kids with autism. CareTrack is not GPS-based, but the company is contacting Illinois lawmakers to see if they qualify.
Still ahead here at 6, SIU's enrollment is down again. We'll take a closer look at the spring numbers.
And the university marks a milestone, opening 2 newly renovated floors at Morris Library. You're watching News 3.
You're watching News 3 in HD, your Southern Illinois news leader. With Eden Schultz, Emily Finnegan, meteorologist Jim Reeser, and Darren Kennard.
We always budget and anticipate that the spring will be smaller.
Administrators at SIU discuss the latest dropping enrollment at the university. The spring figures are out, and the Carbondale campus is down more than 3% from last spring.
But Chancellor Rita Chang says she's not overly concerned about the drop. Chang says more than 2,000 students graduated in December. She believes student retention efforts are starting to show positive results. SIU has seen an 86% retention in freshmen. Chang says it's normal to see a decline in the spring semester because fewer students enroll in January.
Because of the distance we have and the high school students that very few graduate in mid-year. So our fall enrollment is really what drives this institution.
Chang says the school is still working toward higher student enrollment in the fall for incoming freshmen. Fall enrollment has been down 9 straight years at SIU.
SIU's library is showing off its newest learning facilities. The university held a grand opening today for Morris Library's top 2 floors. Students started using the 6th floor in the fall, and the 7th opened just this week. News 3's Evie Allen takes a look.
In this classroom, teachers are okay writing on the walls. The wall is made of glass to allow teachers and students a chance to display anything they want. It's just one of the new features at SIU's expanded Morris Library.
They get all the benefits of the library, but with encouragement of all their academic endeavors.
The 6th and 7th floors are complete from year-long renovations. Library Dean Ann Moore says the 2 floors are designed to harness the latest technology.
It's about providing the academic support services that students need to succeed in their studies.
The 6th floor is known as Math Central. But here, there's no more sketching out equations with paper and pencil.
Other than the study guide that we bought for the class, I have not used any other paper.
Junior Anthony Woods now has a one-stop destination for math instruction, tutoring, and support services.
It may take a little adjustment, but they've got tutors on site, every week.
The 7th floor is known as the Center for Learning Support Services, offering tutoring and testing along with more group work space. Both floors offer tables where students can plug in any personal device and have it displayed on a monitor. The library started these renovations back in 2003 with the goal of offering students more than just standard academic materials, many of which are now available online. And students like Woods say they see themselves using the library a whole lot more.
I'll be here again for the fall and the next spring.
In Carbondale, Evie Allen, News 3.
Strong winds, but some warmer air today.
Chances of winter weather are heading this way, though. Jim has the forecast next.
Putting accuracy first, this is News 3 weather.
It has been very cold, but overall our weather has been sort of quiet. Not a lot of precipitation for several days now. That is all about to change, and honestly there is a lot going on. I could talk for the next 30 minutes and not cover it all, so we're going to compress it down. The most important thing showing up for me, the most important thing on vapor and flow, is that flow starting to come up out of the Pacific again. We talked about it a couple of days ago that it was starting to drop down and push back into the United States, a way that it could move our direction, and now it's coming from the more southerly flow. That becomes a very active pattern for us. That's a constant flow of humidity in over the top of us, and then as forecasters, we just have to determine what's the temperature structure of the atmosphere going to be. Not just what's going on at the ground, what's going on upstairs. Sometimes when that's coming in from the southwest, it's warmer upstairs than down below, and that's when we talk about icing events. And personally, I see multiple chances for that over the next week to 10 days. And we'll be talking more about that, each one of them as they approach. A little bit wave of energy coming close today, but notice the precipitation just drying up as it gets here to home. That's because the air is very, very dry. Our dew point's still running in the single digits. That dry air is going to soak up a lot of humidity before we actually see anything getting to the ground. Very strong south flow now pushing all the way into the Great Lakes region. Chicago is up to 31, 56 in Dallas, 46 in New Orleans. That warm air will continue to flow in here overnight. Our day much closer to normal than we have been in a while. 20 to 39, normal marks 23 and 41. Currently in Harrisburg at the middle school, 37 degrees, dew point 10. That number will continue to go up slowly tonight. South winds right now diminished down to around 4. The big wind gust there today, 36 miles an hour. So Skycast showing the clouds around. We put everything into motion. The clouds continued there, the little chances for rain, and there's a little mixture right around I-64. And then by the time we get to Saturday, all of the wintry weather has gone north because warm air just continues to move in. But it looks like it may rain all day Saturday. It does look like it's going to be light rain because we put up the rainfall totals, and this is from now all the way until 6 p.m. on Saturday. The event's not over at 6 p.m., but this is the totals from now to then, and everything coming in at less than a ½ inch. All the talk about all the snow and ice, we'll plot up the numbers. Our Adonis model looking at freezing rain forecast from now till then. Nothing showing up here. As close as St. Louis, there is a chance of some, and then we look at snow. And again, locally, all zeros. A chance of some around St. Louis, but that's until Saturday 6 p.m. I don't think we'll see the real switchover until after. Still a chance we could see some ice and a little bit of snow Saturday night into Sunday morning. None of that tonight, though. South breezes keeping temperatures up. Will drop to around freezing. Tomorrow, a chance of a little winter mixture and then turning into rain showers by afternoon. A cold rain, though, high only around 38. More showers on Saturday, possibly changing over to a little ice, maybe a little snow Saturday night into Sunday morning. Sunday evening, another chance for a little fast-moving wave that could bring in accumulating snow. We have to fine-tune on that one. And then by Tuesday, the big storm in the charts that I think for us we need to be focused on freezing rain. I do think it's going to be a mixture. I think we'll see a little bit of everything, but I think there's enough of a freezing rain component. We got to get ready for it.
Whole lot going on.
Oh, for those folks sick of winter, that was not the extended outlook they wanted
not
to
at
see.
all.
Not quite.
Thank you, Jim. Well, now here's Ashley Smith with a preview of what's coming up tomorrow on News 3 this morning.
This week's Unsung Heroes helped save a man after this fiery crash in Franklin County. We'll have a preview of that. Also, we'll let you know what's going on at the boat and fishing shows coming up this weekend. It all starts on News 3 this morning at 5 o'clock.
And to sports next, the basketball Salukis picked up a much-needed win last night, and they did so in convincing fashion.
Darren's in next to show us how a freshman big man has been making the most of his opportunity. Sports is next.
This is News 3 Sports in HD.
Barry Henson's self-proclaimed Young Guns came out blazing last night as the Dogs took down second-place Indiana State in a convincing 79-60 win. Featuring a starting lineup of 3 freshmen and a sophomore, the Salukis handled their more experienced counterparts, turning a 9-point halftime lead into an 18-point lead in a 2-minute span. Sophomore Anthony Bean led the way with a career-high 22. Freshmen Sean O'Brien and Bola Olanyo each posted double-doubles. For Olanyo, it was a career night. 12 points and 12 rebounds to go along with 4 assists and 3 steals. That makes 20 points and 20 rebounds in Bola's first 2 collegiate starts.
I mean, I'm just trying to help my teammates to win the ball game. Since I know that, I mean, if he's rebounding, it'll help my team to win the ball game.
He's doing a great job on the boards. I thought but before we were struggling on the offensive end, defensive end, then he just comes in, he brings great energy. He gets every board. He's like that in practice. He gets every board that comes off the glass.
Bola and the Dogs will open the second half of the Valley season Saturday afternoon at home against Loyola. So here's a look at the Valley standings at the midway point. Wichita State now owns a 2-game lead over Indiana State. Northern Iowa is third. It's a 3-way tie for 4th and a 4-way tie for 7th. Only 1 game separates the bottom 7 teams in the league. Marion's wrestling team has been on a roll this season. The Wildcats are 16-2 overall, and they have a chance to set a school record for most wins in the program next week. One of the reasons that Marion has enjoyed its recent success, senior Luke Abbott. He's currently 28-3 on the season. Abbott is hoping to continue to improve and earn a trip to state this season.
That would be probably the biggest accomplishment I could think of, is to maybe get my name on our poster board, which has our state placers on it.
I could see him definitely being a state qualifier, and he's got the potential to be a state place winner at the state tournament with all the hard work that he's put in.
Caleb Martin will have more on Abbott for you tonight on News 3 at 10. NASCAR announced today it's overhauling its championship format, making some drastic changes to the chase for the Cup. The chase will be expanded from 12 to 16 drivers, with more emphasis being placed on winning races. Once in the chase, 4 cars will be eliminated every 3 races. You'll end up with 4 drivers left in a final battle in the final race of the season, now called the Sprint Cup Championship.
Sounds interesting. Thank you, Darren.
Sure.
We'll be right back.
Kind of a mess out there weather-wise in the coming days.
Yeah, and we're going to say that over and over again, I think, over the next couple of weeks. Here comes the first round. If you're traveling tomorrow, it's from here north. We think some rain will move in here. Could be mixed with a little bit of sleet at times, but generally a rain. But if you're going to Chicago, snow tomorrow, a high of 21. Kansas City, snow, and a high of 28.
I hate to see what they're saying about you on social media these days.
I don't go there anymore.
That does it for us. Entertainment Tonight is next.
Have a good evening.